for Washington just making knee jerk moves and essentially ruin the franchise. You know what I'm saying? I think it was one year where Washington had like four draft picks. You know what I'm saying? Like in one year, that's unheard of. You know that he had traded away so many picks, moved up, and and it didn't work out. I mean, yeah, like you
Cause he
said,
ain't pull a Mike Dicker.
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
give you every dollar in my pocket for Ricky Williams.
mhm. Yeah. You don't want to be, just erratic
Ah,
as a GM, and I think. That's a good thing because, like you said, essentially you want to be able to sustain uh a level of winning, you know what I'm saying. If you're the Lions, you're gonna be good for some years. You know what I'm saying? It's not like just last year. We've seen that it has carried over to this year, and a lot of it is the sign, our own players that we brought in. That's what I like about this whole thing. I mean, look at all the guys that we signed for, contract extensions and you know, gave him a second contract. St. Brown, Sewell, David Montgomery was a free agent, but they like his production. I thought that was a real good move, right? Just showing a
yeah,
good
Reynolds got a
face.
second deal
Yeah,
before
yep,
he finally left. Yeah,
yeah,
Charles Harris, even though Charles Harris was there, you and I both agree he was probably more so of the Udonis Haslam esque type of, what I'm saying, impact on the team. But yeah,
yeah.
they take care of their own. They predicated themselves off of that.
And you know what, the Lions was never known for doing that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they said they've had such a bad reputation of losing, and and then just people just wanting to get the hell out of here, or uh not even being good enough to sustain a second contract, or if we did get a high price free agent, it was like he was at the end of his career and it wasn't sustainable. You know what I'm saying? Like Damian Woody, or just make it sound like, I mean, Reggie Bush was okay, what I'm saying, in his last contract, did come to the Lions. We've had got Kyle Vandenbosch, Stephen Tulloch,
See Styles.
what's up, Chris? That came, at the end of their
Yeah.
careers for the Lions, and it wasn't just a money grab. But like I said, all of that is over. I think Brad Holmes is they washed that whole stink of less the year. I think all that's over, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's obvious that this team is on a different direction now. For the here and now, my initial thought was the talks have died down a little bit and it's gotten back to earth. I think it's going to get real serious after this week of somebody. I think they will bring in a pass. I think they will. I think they realize, the next game against the Packers is huge, man. After this 10, you don't want to overlook Tennessee, but you're gonna need a pass rusher, man. You're gonna have to get to the quarterback. It just hasn't happened yet where we, think about it, this team is gonna lose another game. I mean, they're not gonna go this season without losing a couple, along the way. So I think the trade deadline. I think November 5th. So I think it'll
Yeah.
really heat up after this week, Walt. Will they make a trade? Yes, I think they will. I think they will acquire somebody who is a big name. I don't know necessarily if they're going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Now I was really hyped up because I thought by now it would have happened by now. You know what I'm saying? But maybe it could be a little Miles Garrett. I hear Miles Garrett just to the hour. I hear maybe the Chicago Bears could get Miles Garrett, and that's the thing. What I would fear that the Packers or the Bears or even the Vikings, man, one of those teams just jump up and get them. I mean, let's just say, I mean, we're not running our team according to how those teams run their teams, but man, you got to be conscious of what the other team is doing in your division. You know what I'm saying? So, uh,
Well, what do you make of the situation with Garrett? Because we discussed Miles Garrett, and it seemed kind of silly
yeah.
about 3 weeks ago, roughly 3 weeks ago, and you know everything kind of rolled off the backs of Deshaun Watson and the poor play.
Mm,
The defense pretty much being viewed as wasted over the past 2 years with him under center. They did make the playoffs without him, which was not helpful at
Yeah.
all for his overall look within that organization in that city. And I think everything kind of just came to a head for him. If you and Fidel brought this up to me the other day. Peace to Fidel Barraza, who also does Raiders content
Yeah.
creator.
Shout out to Fidel. Yeah.
Yeah, great guy, great guy.
Hmm.
But he brought up something that I didn't really think about, and it's not really us bringing this up isn't about feeling bad for Deshaun Watson because neither one of us feel bad for Deshaun Watson. At some point in time, whether he got out of the court unscathed or not, there was something going on.
Hmm.
What to what degree we don't know, but there was something going on to lead to all of that crap that went on. But you look at what he was dealing with, the poor play. I think he's mentally washed from football, and that's something else that he's probably dealing with. Fidel brought up thinking about this dude's mental health. I think tearing the Achilles, blowing his Achilles
Yeah.
in that situation, considering the pressure that was on this dude for the last 2 years, all this season, hearing everything in the media, not only just the local media, but the national media, having the pressure of carrying a playoff team on your back,
Yeah.
and the off the field stuff. You
Yeah.
can't let that go. All of that comes along with it. And then, the pain on the dude's face, the crying and everything on the cart, it seemed like everything for him, just for him as a man, just came to a boiling point at that point in time, and he knew it was over.
Hmm.
Now, if you look at what went on with the fans and the cheering it and
Yeah.
telling the dude when he's hurt he deserved it. When somebody gets hurt, you tell them they deserved it. And let's get one thing clear with that.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with what he was accused of off the field, because when it comes down to this, football fans, sports fans in general, maniac fans, the way most of us are, have no standards. If Watson would have showed up in Cleveland and would have balled out, they wouldn't have gave a damn about any of that stuff off the field. It's the fact that he got the amount of money he got, and the return on the investment has not even been 5% there. This dude isn't even a shell of what he used to be.
Yeah.
And now Garrett comes out, which is what a leader on the team does. I wouldn't have respected him if he wouldn't have done anything about it. That's his teammate. Y'all feel the way y'all feel about him, but this dude goes to war with this dude every day
Yeah.
in practice and on Sundays. And to see the crowd cheer somebody, regardless of how y'all feel about him as fans, he's still a human being. And he's somebody that's close to them.
Yeah.
So for the best player on your team to have to come out and say that to his fans, and this isn't all Cleveland Browns fans because it was a small portion, but when a stadium is quiet, all you got to hear, you can hear 500 people in there chanting that.
Yeah.
And to hear that for one of your come on,
Yeah. Yeah.
you can go ahead. That was just
Yeah.
my rant, man.
You was cutting out. I could barely hear you. I can hear you now. Yeah. I mean, man, you absolutely 100% right, man. You know what I'm saying? It just comes to a point to where I think people feel if you make X amount of dollars, no matter how much money it is, it's all a lot of money in our eyes, right? I mean, they feel that you're like a robot, man. You have to go out and do what they say, you know what I'm saying, and perform as they say, as they think, as their standards call for. It's not a I mean, we looking at Myles Garrett in this caption, but we see the big 95 laying a smackdown on somebody. We're not looking at his family. That's a man with a family. That's not a guy, a pillar in his community, a guy who uh, just does everything right off the field. I mean, when you put that uniform on, man, it's what have you done for me lately? What have you done for this franchise? What have you done for the fans that pay money to see you play football? So yeah, I mean, we could be hard as fans. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I mean, we all say, this guy sucks or something like that, and he might be out there. He could obviously he all these guys are good. They playing in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? I'm just sitting here behind a microphone in front of my laptop. You know what I'm saying? Just talking smack. But a lot of these guys deserve to be where they're at. You know what I mean? From the hard work that they put in. But sometimes it just doesn't equate to wins, or sometimes you just can't get out of your own way sometimes as an organization, as and people frustrate, people that's been supporting a team for 50 years. Look at the Lions, man. Before the Lions got good, I mean, everybody was like, you know unless you was die sleeping at the stadium and that type of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People was like, the Lions will never be good in my book. You know what I'm saying? And some people, those are the people that's like real. uh
I think the love has always been there though.
yeah, but I think
For
Cleveland, like
Lions
you said,
fans at least.
yeah, and the Lions fan, and then I have people, my own fan, and I've always been a Lions fan, and they suck so many years, man. You know what I'm saying? People say, why in the heck do you still watch every game? And you know what I'm saying? And do, back at that time, you know what I'm saying? So some people just don't get it. I mean, I'm a football fan in general, but it is extra nice when your team is doing good. You know what I'm saying? That makes it even better. So yeah, but the the Deshaun Watson thing, man, when I heard the fans cheering and saying you deserve it, I mean, it didn't surprise me. You know what
It
I'm
was a
saying? I
very
mean,
uncomfortable feeling, man. It
yeah,
was. It made me. I didn't see it live, but when I saw the replay of it, it made me real uneasy. It was cringeworthy to see
especially.
a grown ass man crying on a
Mhm,
cart and to hear fans chanting that at him.
yeah.
Like that's not cool, man. And for an organization that has never been there, I
Mhm,
mean, we never been there, but come on, man. Like that's your best player
mhm,
in Miles Garrett to have that type of reaction towards him. And like someone brought this up on the radio earlier, like this is the same town that burned LeBron James jerseys, burned
mhm,
all his merchandise when he left. And this was a dude that was supposedly one of their own.
yeah,
And then it's crazy, man.
yeah. I
I
remember.
understand being mad
Yeah,
because you
yep.
feel like there's no way out. Because financially it feels like it's no way out. Now I don't know if there's a medical buyout for him possibly they could do with him, but he's played his last game in a Browns jersey
Oh yeah, yeah,
for sure.
guaranteed that. Yeah, yeah, he's not playing for that team no more. Um, but you know what? Well, it reminded me of. I remember back, and this was different fans because he was on the road. I remember when Michael Irvin had a neck
Yeah,
injury in
and that
Philly, and
was in
they was
Philly.
cheering.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Remember that? And I remember that stuck out to me. I mean, I was young then when it happened, but I remember that. You know what I'm saying? Cheering because the man leaving on the stretcher. That type of thing. Even though it was Eagles fans and he was for the Cowboys, it still was like, man,
but that was kind of a time back in the day too where it was kind of acceptable to be assholes. Like they called it being like a hardcore football fan back then, where you just really hated your rivals. But
yeah,
yeah, nowadays, like people I think are a little less tone deaf to what's really going on. But yeah,
yeah,
just to stick to Garrett though, man, I think that it's him and then the other guy we're gonna talk about. You're talking about something that goes against everything that Brad Holmes has kind of shown us. The
mhm,
first half of being here and how he conducts business. As
yeah,
aggressive as he is in the NFL draft,
yeah,
he's as passive when it comes to trades and free agency. And Dan brought it up last week. He brought it up again Monday and Tuesday on
yeah,
97.1 when they asked him what's going on trade wise, what you looking at, what are you looking for, what type of player. And they said, hey, listen, we're doing this. If we're gonna make a move, it's gonna be with our future of our team in mind, which means draft capital. We're taking that into account, and we're taking into account financially. Will bringing this guy in affect, or these guys in, could be two players for all we know more. Will bringing these type of guys in affect us financially when it comes to keeping the guys that we brought in via the NFL draft and grew within our system? Because I think there's a lot positive to be said when you draft players and you see them grow 2, 3, 4 years in your system. A
yeah,
lot of players aren't great players because they're great athletes. They're great athletes. I mean, a lot of great players aren't great players simply because they're great athletes. They're also great players because they've had the time to grow within a system and within a scheme.
Yeah.
And you know how it is. When you know exactly what you're doing every day when you go to work, it's second nature to you. So I think a lot needs to be said that could they be pulling our legs? Sure. But in 3 years, has he done it? During the trade deadline, has he done it? If we being honest about it.
Yeah, I mean,
And
we
do they
haven't.
really need to do it?
Yeah, I think they need to. I mean, for real, I do. I think, yeah, of course, if they don't
For a
do it,
big name or just in general for help?
because this is how I felt. Remember, I even told you, and I think it was Lamar. You know what I'm saying? The same thing. I mean, I would do it for a big name. I would. I mean, like I said, I got reason behind it though. It's like because I feel like we can win it all. That's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason why. What I want to win. I want to win this thing. I
Let me
want to
ask
win.
you this.
Period.
And
That's
this is your question, directly your question I got for you.
yeah.
Would you be surprised if we won it all as currently constructed? When you look at the
Uh,
rest of the NFC and you look at the fact that, okay, I understand Kansas City's the defending champs. They got the Michael Jordan, the quarterbacks.
yeah.
They got the Phil Jackson, the head coaches.
Uh-huh.
They got, the Scotty, Chris Jones, and Scotty Pippen, however you want to put it.
Yeah.
They got all of this in place.
It
The
wouldn't
Chiefs look
surprise
very beatable, though.
me.
Especially by a team that's as versatile as us. Offensively, got as many DBs as we have, secondary players we have that can make plays. Would you be surprised if this team made it to the Super Bowl as currently constructed?
No, no, absolutely not. That's what I said. It's like, man, if you can play both sides of the fence, I'm doing it because I still believe we one of the top teams, but I just want to solidify that, you know what I'm saying, and make because this is what I want. I want uh that Chris Jones type, like Chris Jones won that Super Bowl, bro. It wasn't so much Patrick Mahomes, it was Chris Jones. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I want a guy like that, you know, not saying I know nobody's Chris Jones, he's best D tackle in the league. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is I just want somebody. I don't know if we got that guy on our roster, man. We got a collection of guys. We got some good players. I mean, our team, you know what our team reminds me of when the Giants won the Super Bowl. I think when we beat the Patriots. I mean, obviously they had Michael Strahan, Justin Tuck, and those guys. I mean,
OC, Umenyiora,
yeah. I mean that's
Michael
what I
Pierce, not
yeah,
Michael Pierce, but Antonio Pierce.
yeah,
Yeah,
Antonio Pierce, yeah. And it kind of reminds me of that team, that the team we have now.
that's a lot of edge rushers though that they had.
Yeah, it's a collective. That's what I was gonna say. It could be a collective unit because this is
We're
why.
better than them though,
Yeah, and I
but they
exactly.
won it all, so I can't really hate on them. But yeah, I think that's a team that they caught fire. That was a team that they had a quarterback playing really well in the playoffs,
Uh-huh.
and they could get after the quarterback.
Yeah. Now the only thing is I could say this, because the running, like if we played, let's like if we made it that far and we played Lamar, if we played Baltimore in the Super Bowl, just put it out there. I think it's a bad matchup for us because we don't have the edge rusher. Maybe the over
But we got the
pursuing.
corners this year.
Yeah, and I was gonna say maybe that might be playing into stopping Lamar Jackson, that type of thing, a mobile quarterback, because we're not over pursuing. We're not trying to beat our guy off the edge. We getting the pressure, like you were saying that last show, in different ways. You know what I'm saying? And that could maybe stop some of the running, the Achilles heel, which been a running quarterback. You know, when we played, we're gonna see what uh Anthony Richardson coming up. You know what I mean? We got, a game with the Indy. It's gonna be interesting. CJ
With all
Stroud.
due respect, and A Rich, my guy, I'm rooting hard for A Rich, man. A Rich,
Yeah.
he don't want it. He don't want it.
Yeah.
he ain't ready. A Rich ain't ready for us. He don't want it, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. It's hard. It's hard to say that you don't want to bring in somebody, I put it this way. I'm kind of like it's like I don't want a big Max Crosby to come here. I was saying it because it was the thing to do in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not if he, whatever. It's like if it's not gonna happen, it's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna say the season's over if we don't get Max Crosby. I mean, I of course I just looking at the production. You know what I'm saying? It just seems like he's the perfect guy for our team, man. And that's bull if people are saying that, oh, you can't afford him. I wouldn't give up 3 first round picks. Them picks that we get 28, 29, 30, 31 is not even going to make it. I'm telling y'all right now, the people out there saying that it's not even going to, you're not even going to miss them picks. I'm just telling you right now.
Yes,
It's
we
not like,
will.
no, you're
Hold
not.
on now.
Not with
Hold
Brad
on.
Holmes.
Hold on. Hold on. I
Not
think
going
we
to miss the
will miss
picks.
them, bro.
So you telling me
Look at
right
some of
now?
our best players.
Yeah. So second, third, fourth round. So I got faith that Brad Holmes he'll draft a guy in a fourth round that's just as good as a guy you can get in the second round, in my opinion.
Uh,
I mean, he's shown he can do it. You know what I
I
mean?
said I would do it for a first and a third. And I heard someone on CBS radio talking about it yesterday, more than a matter of fact. I'm not sure how much I believe that a first and a third is it because the Raiders ain't that stupid. Now, the Raiders understand what they have. The Raiders also understand that they just traded their biggest offensive weapon in Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm.
The quarterback is out. So it's like it's obvious Aiden O'Connell isn't the answer. They don't know what they're gonna do with their head coach. He may not be back next season. He may not be back in 2 weeks for all we know. Like the Raiders got a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
So the best thing they can do, you're not winning this season. If you're gonna auction off your best players, you better make sure you get adequate capital in return. If I'm
Yeah.
running the Raiders or you running the Raiders, would you give up Crosby for a first and a third?
Would I do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course I would. Yeah.
You would no, you would if you were the
Yeah.
Raiders, you would give him up for that.
Yeah, because this is why if you need a quarterback, right? If I'm the Raiders, I need a quarterback. So I get to keep the pick that I have. Remember, this ain't the NBA. You don't have to swap picks. So the Raiders gonna be they ain't making playoffs. So they're gonna be within the top 15, you think, right? So let's just say, yeah, I would do it in a minute. Because think about it, you're gonna have 2 first round picks, you're gonna have your second round pick and a third and 2 third round picks. If they I mean, like
Man,
I said, I don't have their draft in front of me, but I'm just saying if they got a first and a third already, hell yeah. Yep, I'm doing it. I'm trying to for
I
them, they in
think
a
they can
different
demand
situation we're
they can
in.
demand way more than that though. That's the whole
Yeah.
thing. If you look at if Aaron Donald never got traded, but when there were Aaron Donald trade rumors going around
Yeah.
after they won that Super Bowl and he was flirting with retirement and all that, they were talking about 3 firsts for him.
Yeah.
The Chiefs were talking about when the whole Chris Jones thing was going on last year. At the beginning of last year, he held out for 1 week and then came back against Jacksonville. Trade. They were talking about 3 firsts for him.
Yeah.
Those type of players demand that type of compensation. Like a first and a third ain't gonna get it. I'd be shocked if they gave him up for a first and a third.
Well, I was thinking 2 firsts. You know what I'm saying? 2 first. That's as far as I'm going. I'm not going no further
Yeah,
than
that's
that.
what I was gonna ask you. Like, how far is there a breaking point for you? Like, you like,
2
nah, I'm good. I'll hang up.
2 firsts, maybe. If I'm giving you 3 firsts, you give me a pick back. That type of thing. If I do it,
A
I'm gonna
third or a second or something.
yeah, exactly. But I would do it only because I'm gonna get okay. If you telling me I'm just giving up a first round, I'm not giving up 3 picks in one draft. You're giving up 1 pick this draft. Let's just say we win the Super Bowl, whatever. We're 31 or 32 anyway, right? That pick you giving up. You're going to get that second round, third round, fourth round pick you still got. And I think we don't have a fourth round pick this year, something like that. But anyways, I would do it. I would do it in a minute, man. I mean, because you figure our secondary is pretty much you're not getting another guy in the secondary. You want to build that offensive line. I think we do. Let's be honest. I think Frank getting long in the tooth. You might want to start getting his
And that's the
replacement
point I
ready.
was getting ready to make. Like, we
Yeah,
need help. Like, I understand people it's kind of short-sighted to only look at this whole trade thing just strictly from, okay, we got the opportunity to win this year, and that's all I'm focused on. Like, I would say as Rams fans, but the Rams ain't really got a dedicated football fan base like the Detroit Lions do. So I don't know how Rams fans really feel about it. But the Rams won that Super Bowl. That Super Bowl feels like extra empty. And we talked about that. Like, that Super Bowl feels like eons ago. And it was only 3 years ago, and they steadily still trying to crawl back from that. And they stuck with a veteran quarterback who And we heard trade rumors about him going on. So
Mhm.
I think that, man, it's just kind of short-sighted for people to not realize that, okay, if we bring in this big name, there is going to be a domino effect that comes from that. And granted, you may have him and Aiden Hutchinson, the two best pass rush tandem in the league, but if it costs you a few players and it costs you some picks, like
Yeah.
we said this, we talking about, okay, at some point in time, even though Decker got a new deal, extension or whatever, we are going to need tackle help. Skipper, I love him. Great team guy. Step in a pinch, help out. That's not our backup tackle. He shouldn't be our backup tackle. We still have answers that questions that need to be answered at guard. You just mentioned we need answers at center at any point in time. Frank can walk away, and Frank got every right to walk away. We need edge rush help for damn sure.
Yeah.
If you don't plan on bringing back Kirby at some point in time, or there's still spots on this team that need to be addressed. And I just think that if you bring in a Max Crosby or Myles Garrett and you sacrifice 3 first-round picks, there's still first-round picks. Whether you're picking 29th or you're picking 15th or whatever, there's still first-round picks and they're in high regard. That's why when every time players get traded, you talking about what quarterbacks for the most part to get traded for first-round picks.
Mhm.
People don't want seconds; they want first. I mean, look at Tyreek Hill. And I understand every team isn't going to do what Miami did, but look what Miami gave up for a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that I get it. He's a great player.
Well, I look at it like
But
this too. I'm looking at Crosby or Myles Garrett is better than anybody you would get at 28 or 29, right? To be a pass rusher. You can plug and play. You might get another Tyree Wilson that you got to wait on for 3 or 4 years. You know what I'm saying? I'm just looking at it to where them picks all sometimes they're not guaranteed,
let
that
me
they're
ask you
gonna
this,
work
then.
out.
Would you rather have Max Crosby or would you rather have a combination of Kirby Joseph, Aleem McNeil, and Brian Branch?
Oh, that's a no-brainer right there. I want my guys, of course. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's multiple spots, bro. It's
But
multiple spots.
I would rather have the for sure thing over something that's unseen. We fearing about something that's unseen. You worried about picks that we haven't even picked yet. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that same guy that we could have got at 29 or 30 probably might be available at 49 or 50. No, not that close, but maybe 50 or 50. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't think it's that much of a disparity between
So we go from addressing the guard position at 32. That's saying we won the Super Bowl. So
yeah,
we go from addressing the guard position at 32. Well, I don't even know. Do we have a second round pick this year?
yeah, we got one. Yep.
Okay, so
Yeah.
now you're talking about instead of picking potentially the best available guard, because we already know guards, and I'll just throw guard out there because guard is one of those positions.
Yeah.
That
you need it.
yeah,
Yep.
and or edge rusher, but the guards tend to fall a whole lot more than the edge rushers do. So you go from picking potentially the number 1 guard in the draft at number 32 or 30, 33, 34, whatever.
Yeah, 32.
And you picking maybe the 5th or 6th best or worse than that, because it's always a run on interior offensive lineman at the top of the 2nd round.
Yeah, that's facts right there. You're right about that. Because I'm looking at traffic. Yeah, so we got let's just say we traded our first, then we got a second. Remember, we traded the 3rd round pick to get Manu, so we don't have a 3rd round pick. So we got a 2nd round pick, 4th round pick, and then we got actually 2 fourths. We got 2 4th round picks, 5th round, and then 6th round pick. No 6th round. We traded that for Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Oh,
so we got first, we got first, a 2nd, 2 4s, and a 5. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, the facts still remain. I still would do it. You know what I mean? Just looking at it like that. I feel what you're saying. I know when draft time come, Because remember, I was a big proponent. We was Jackson Power Johnson, Zach Frazier. Then was the two guys we were Cooper Beebe. Those
Jackson
and
he been playing really well for the Raiders. Think about it, we made fun of both. Well, we ain't make fun of the Jackson Powers pick, but we made fun of the Brox Bowers pick.
mm-hmm.
And both of them dudes is really balling for the Raiders.
Yeah. Yep. So I see what you're saying because the drop off is real, like guard and center. When we get into draft talk, we'll
Edge
see.
rusher. Well, we won't need an edge rusher. We get him.
Yeah, that's all. I'm just looking at the secondary. It's cool, man. We don't have to do nothing with the secondary. We got Brandon Joseph waiting in the wings.
You gonna re-sign Carlton Davis?
Yeah.
You re-signing Carlton?
Oh man,
they got the right to. They got the right to void his contract if they feel like it. But I mean, I think they might, because I think more than likely Rakestraw is gonna start next season.
Mm-hmm.
I think Amik Robinson, they like him a lot. I like Amik too.
Yeah,
Amik
I like
compete
Amik,
out
yeah.
there.
Yep. He you know what he's doing out there. So yeah, but like you said, do I think it's gonna happen at this point? Well, I don't know. I think next week is really gonna heat up. I think the talks. I don't know. Like I said, if I had to just give my prediction, I don't think it's gonna happen. Just because I think Brad Holmes is calculating everything he does, man. You know, and that's one thing I do like about him, where you know, he don't care what nobody say. He got his plan. He's got his guys. He's got his blueprint to what he wants with this team and how he's going to build it and how he's going to keep this thing going. And for the most part, you can't question nothing Brad Holmes has done, in my opinion, because he's pushed all the right buttons, man. Yeah, of course, you're going to have some draft picks that don't work out. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I'd rather have his percentage a player win rate than in the past. You know what I'm saying? Think about it, man. I mean, Makai Wingo's playing. You know what I'm saying? We got guys, like I say, Enos Rakestraw's been kind of like a guy he's been hurt. We haven't seen much, but we know the intangibles with him is there. You know, Sion Vaki might have been a pick where, okay, we took him. He hasn't really contributed much to special team. Giovanni Manu don't suit up. You know, he's a project. So
yeah, that doesn't look good if that doesn't work out.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So we traded away a 3rd round pick for him, you know what I mean, to draft that kid at that spot. So yeah. I mean,
which guy you think is tougher to get? Because I mean, you
right
look at the Browns right now, they gave up a decent amount for, you know, saying the situation they had for Deshaun Watson. Yeah. I know they looking to recoup. Would he be cheaper? Yep. I think they both all pro players though. That's the whole thing. So it's like Myles Garrett is a complete monster.
Mm-hmm.
So is Max Crosby. I think it's kind of splitting hairs on who's the better player. Yeah. You want to be honest about it?
Yeah, I'd rather have to be honest with you. I think Myles Garrett would be easier.
I think he fits more of what they want out of he got that same type of Davenport type size, and the dude look like Batman in his uniform.
Yeah,
I just have to say that dude has the weirdest arms. It's like somebody actually put a jersey on Hulk. It's weird, man. Weird, but yeah, I think it's kind of splitting hairs. But who people want, but like who's cheaper to get? I think that's really what it's gonna come down to. That's if they both available.
Yeah, I don't think. I'm just telling people like this, man, because I think it's easier than you think to get these guys. I don't think it's like impossible. You know what I'm saying? Because players, I said all the time in every sport, man, players become available all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, I think there's a bad taste in his mouth. What happened? I'm glad you brought that up with Cleveland because I think that does matter, man. He probably like, man, F this city. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. They gonna, you know, that's how they gonna treat guys who's coming out there putting their lives on the line week to week.
I mean, that's not everybody, but it hurts when you hear that. You hear them boo and cheer your homeboy, and then they turn around and tell you, well, if you don't like it, you can leave. Like,
yeah,
who are y'all to tell anybody that they can leave, man? And I'm not trying to dish the city at all. I know that was a select thousands of people who did that, but to have that attitude, and shout out to, I was listening to Browns radio because I listen to a lot of different sports. I listen to the Bears radio a lot too, but I think it was 96.7, if I'm not mistaken, in Cleveland. And, you know, they were saying, hey, listen, that was only a select few fans.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking.
They wanted to clarify that, listen, Miles, this ain't the way we all feel about you. You know, but I think we focus a lot on players not alienating fans, but something has to be said for fans alienating players too. Because it does leave a bad taste in the player's mouth to see y'all do my teammate like that. And then when I stand up for him, when I'm a good teammate, good quote unquote, good culture guy, when I stand up for somebody that y'all don't like, now I can beat it. It's funny how a lot of these fans, they pick and choose when they want you to be a culture guy. You're not a culture guy when you stand up for somebody we don't like, though. That's your teammate. It's just, man, it's getting bad in Cleveland. I think this is terrible. It's a terrible look. And I mean, you know, this is a dude we thought was probably a pipe dream 3 weeks ago.
Mhm.
Man, Cleveland ain't giving up on him. They can still win. They got Chubb. They can run the ball. They got some playmakers over there. The defense is good. But when it rains, it pours, man. When things go sour, especially with like these big name, big high priced players, man, it looks bad.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah, so I don't think it's gonna happen simply because Brad ain't showing us anything else. Like,
yeah,
they're real skeptical of who they bring over here and what they got to give up to get them, because we seen it with other teams around the league. In the blink of an eye, you can bring in one big name guy, and then you got little holes in the roster everywhere else.
yeah.
Now you can't bring this guy back, and you can't bring that guy back, and
Well, I think that's that part of it's going to happen eventually. I think that you just can't pay everybody. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean,
because Branch is a $20 million safety.
oh, yeah,
I bet
for
you in 2
sure.
years, if he keeps playing the way he's playing it, when
Yeah,
it's time for him to get paid, he's going to probably be what, the first $20 million safety.
yeah. Now him, that's another story. You know what I'm saying? That's he on another that
Pay the man.
that's you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but I'll just talk about for this year and next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, but when we get into this whole notion of us just need a pass rusher, yeah, I do think we do need one, man. I think, like I said, right now, whether whoever it is, we need one. You know what I mean? Just that position, we have to. I don't think we can get by without it, man. I mean, we did last week and we may this week. You know what I mean? But it's gonna come a point in time where we need, Aiden Hutchinson would get to the quarterback, you know what I'm saying, in key times in the game. And I think, not saying that we can't do it now. That's the beauty of this whole thing. And we talking about draft, ironically, and the reason why we in this position because Brad Holmes has drafted the right guys. You know what I mean? This is not guys that we just got off the street. You know what I'm saying? We all these guys, Anzarike and Josh Pascal. We did sign Reader, but Ali McNeil's our guy. You know what I'm saying? So we have all of our, even Makai Wingo to an extent. You know what I mean? He's a rookie, but all those guys are our guys. Drafted. So yeah, you don't want to mess that part of it up because once you start accumulating superstars, yeah, and just like I think Ralph said it best, and he's got a point. You know what I mean? Just because you sign a big name, that doesn't automatically, say you're gonna be good. Matter of fact, it probably could be worse. You know what I mean? We've seen instances where and on other teams where they
The
they
Eagles.
loaded up, you know what I'm saying, and it didn't mount to nothing, man. You know what I'm saying? And then you stuck, like you said, with these high priced guys, and then it ruins the chemistry, or the team is just not what it was, and it may take the edge off of our team. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I think we got a good mix of guys that's kind of hungry. You know what I mean? To show that who they are. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, I think this week gonna be huge for the rest of these guys. That's trying to just make an impact and show everybody that, hey, y'all bringing up Aiden Hutchinson, but what about us? You know what I'm saying? We can play too. You know what I mean? We could make plays too. We can get to the quarterback too. So yeah, it's going to be huge. I do think, let's just say we have a 5-sack game against Tennessee. Maybe Brad Holmes stand back and say, "Hey, I'm riding with what we got." You know, we get into the quarterback. So it's a tough spot to be in right now. It really is, because you don't know whether to pull the trigger on X player. Does Darius Smith sound good to me? You know what I'm saying? He may be a little bit older. He may what he
Yeah,
was
the
4
age in
years
the
ago.
back. Yeah, the age in the back issues is what kind of scared me off of him.
Yeah, a
I
lot of
still
people.
feel like we should have just went with Sweat last year. If we would have went with Montez Sweat last year, it would
Mhm,
have been extremely cheaper, and we wouldn't be sitting here having the Crosby discussion right now
yeah,
or the Miles Garrett. But fans did want Sweat. That's the whole thing. They didn't want to give up 1 first for Montez Sweat, but they willing to sacrifice 3 and 4. Like your boy Mike Valenti, man. I
mhm,
give up 3 first. I'm like,
yeah.
like, but
Well,
you
I mean, that mentality. Well, I could just say this though. I can see where you're coming from. I don't think last year, man, it was weird because I don't think we were in the same position we are now. Yeah, I mean, we saw how the end of the season unfolded, and we seen how we damn near made it to the Super Bowl with what we had last year. You know what I'm saying? So now this year, that's the only thing I'm in lockstep with Mike on that, because I'm like, man, I feel what he's saying. It's like we really could win this thing. I truly
No,
believe
I
it.
get it because
You
coming
know what
from
I
a
mean?
straight fan perspective,
Yeah,
just the fact that me and you, we pride ourselves on it. We think about the organization from many layers deeper than
yeah,
just, hey, listen, I want this player because it's going to guarantee me a Super Bowl. And like Ralph said, it doesn't guarantee you anything. He
yeah.
got like this
That's
comment:
true.
mess around, risk it all for a player, then they get here and blow a wheel.
That's true.
Weird things always seem to happen. Yeah, I mean, look at Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk spent all offseason kicking up all that dust, got his money, and I'm glad he got his money first, but got his money, blew a wheel.
Yeah,
Now he's done. So
yeah,
yeah, it's this idea that bringing player X in is going to guarantee you a Super Bowl, especially in the if we played in a more competitive NFC this year, I would probably feel different.
yeah,
But we looking at what our competition. We done already stated we don't really fear Sam Darnold like that.
yeah,
We do fear Jordan Love because Jordan can cut loose. Jordan got some talent, and Green Bay is overall a very talented roster. Philly can't get out of their own way. They
yeah,
want every single player that runs across the ticker at the bottom of their screen that they find out is available. I've
yeah,
seen campaigns from Eagles fans talking about we want Myles Garrett. Like,
yeah. But I
how
seen that
many
too.
more people do y'all want? Like, y'all can't figure it out with the stars y'all already got. But I mean, and I do understand that's a fan thing, but we heard it from Howie Roseman. Like, they could potentially be interested in Myles Garrett. I
Yeah,
just think that if the competition was a little bit stiffer in the NFC this year, I might feel different. But I honestly feel like, as currently constructed, we are the best team in this conference. There's no reason why we shouldn't win the NFC this year. I feel like, unless we suffer more injuries.
yeah.
And that's something you can't really sanction. You and I said that if they played Philly this week, they would be favored, whether the game was in Philly or the game was here.
Yeah,
If we played Frisco this week, we would be favored.
we'd be favored. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Who else we got to
Washington,
worry about?
Washington.
Seattle, Washington. If we for damn sure would be favored over a rookie quarterback
Mhm,
in Washington.
yeah,
Jacksonville, Tennessee, the Colts. You made that point a few weeks ago. Like, we probably will be favored. Although I'm kind of surprised we wasn't favored against Minnesota,
yeah.
honestly.
That was a big surprise last
But it
week.
was still basically a pick 'em, though.
Hmm.
But you made that statement, like, we probably will be favored in every game from there on out.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you look at Minnesota right now. I see Christian Darrisaw helped off the field. Man, didn't look good. You know what
See,
I'm
blew
saying?
a wheel. See,
Yeah,
see this man.
yeah,
You mess around and catch a flat tire, man.
yeah. So I don't know. He may not. I mean, he did. They didn't bring the card off for Darrisaw, but it didn't look good. Somebody turned over on his ankle, man, on his left
Hate to see
ankle.
that. Hell of a young tackle in the league.
Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? The injury prospect, the injury is always there, to worry about injuries. But yeah, I mean, to your point tonight, I mean, this whole uh notion to,
Well, we
you
still got
know,
somebody else to talk about too.
yeah, to keep
Our son out there,
who's that?
our stepson out there. No, I'm talking about, already know I'm talking about J-Mo, man.
Oh yeah,
J-Mo.
oh yeah, yeah.
Lovable J-Mo. J-Mo don't be knowing, man. But back to what you were saying.
Nah, I was just saying, I feel you that you did make a good point about the NFC is not as like a juggernaut like that. You know what I'm saying? Not putting saying the Lions got it easy, but like you said, right now, even
They
without Aiden
shouldn't
Hutchinson,
blow it.
yeah, without Aiden Hutchinson, I think they still are, like you said, a class at NFC. Definitely a playoff team. Definitely, one of the top two seeds in the NFC at least, worse, but they are the top seed. So yeah, I agree with you, man. I mean, it's hard to just say you don't know. It's damn if you do, damn if you don't. In a perfect world, we want it all. We want Max Crosby to keep all our draft picks. We want it all. We want the perfect scenario. But like you said, at what
Yeah.
cost? At what cost?
Yeah.
How far are you gonna go? And right now, like I said, if I had to just make a guess, an educated guess, I'm gonna say we are gonna get somebody. I mean, and they already have made a couple subtle moves already. Bringing Pat O'Connor, um, and Isaiah Thomas. They signed, but I think Pat O'Connor played in Sunday's game. They kind of he was on the practice squad anyway, but then I remember he wound up getting cut. So then it was sort of like he was still in the building anyway. So they kind of brought him up. They kind of didn't really sign him, but like you said, Isaiah Thomas could be that guy. Maybe he gets activated this week. I think they're trying to find in house. I think they're giving the guys, like you said. I think that was I didn't think about that until you said it, but maybe they are like auditioning. Like, hey, it's how you applying for a job for the company you in, and you like, I'm gonna apply for that job. I'm doing this, but I'm still gonna apply for it. Maybe Brad, like, hey, I'm waiting on somebody to come grab this job. I got it posted on the board. Who gonna take it? You know what I'm saying?
You'd be surprised if he literally did that.
Yeah.
Like Brad on Indeed.com.
Yeah.
Looking for pass rush help.
Yeah, help. Ukwa and Isaiah Thomas. James Houston still trying to
And then
make it.
they
So
called up Michael Sams.
like I said, from the Rams, University of Missouri. Yeah. Wasn't he like a 6th or 7th round draft pick or something like that? They
I think
drafted
so,
him.
man.
Yeah.
Michael Sams. I don't know, man. I just I don't blame him for having the approach they have though. Cause like I said, he been with the Rams. He's seen success, high end success with the Rams. Then you look around the rest of the league and you see some teams that took that approach and they destroyed their rosters.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you got to be extremely calculated. But I do believe there's, and like you said, you'll be shocked at who becomes available over the next 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Because there could be somebody that can come over here and give us immediate impact that may not cost us 2 first-round picks.
Right.
All you gotta do is find somebody that's athletic, that's versatile, that can blend right in with your system.
I heard of Trayvon Walker. I heard some Trayvon Walker talk. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we were talking about that last week, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You heard it from somewhere else too?
Yeah, I heard Trayvon Walker could be a guy. It was an article.
And you can get Trayvon Walker probably for a third.
Yeah. And
that ain't a sexy name, but he's somebody that helps.
Yep. And they might be their patients might be wearing thin. The Jaguars are a mess. You know what I'm saying? I could see them trying to come off of it and restart, not want to pay him. You know what I'm saying? It just seems like a
he's
bad
a good
situation.
kid too. He went to Georgia though. So I don't know how much that can be said, but he's character-wise, that was the main thing that the Lions liked about him at the draft. Jacksonville loved about him. He was a high character kid. He had all the size, the athleticism. He just wasn't a pure pass rusher, but you're talking about a dude who's coachable. He does with Jacksonville whatever they ask him to do defensively.
Yeah.
They stood him up at outside linebacker. I know his first year. I'm not so sure exactly how much he played with his hand in the dirt the last couple years, but he's got that versatility, that 6'5", 275, and they can play you at outside linebacker.
Yeah.
So him on the opposite end of Hutchinson, big size brute power rusher, yeah, I'll roll with that. And like I said, it will cost us way less. Now, is he a championship piece? A name? No. But people have to also understand some of the biggest trades for championship teams, not just the NFL, but NBA, baseball, NHL, they've been subtle trades. Not every championship trade was a huge name. We
Yeah,
could get somebody low key, drop them into our defense, and they might hit the ground running.
yeah,
And we'll look back at it like, damn, remember we wanted Crosby? Yeah, but we got such and such, and that boy been balling. We ain't missed a beat. And I think that's kind of what Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are trying to find. And I don't blame them for it. Being honest
yeah,
about it, if we can get something to fix this hole that we got in this boat that's way cheaper, that's just as sturdy, why not?
yeah,
But
yeah.
let's move on, man, because we got one more thing to talk about. I don't think it's that big of a story. I got woke up with this a couple mornings ago. Lamar woke me up because, well, actually, he didn't wake me up. I woke up. Usually, first thing I do is hop on my laptop, go on YouTube, check the analytics on the page and everything. Whose video pops up number one? And this is like 6:30 in the morning. His video breaking the news. I saw the caption. It was a reel he did. I saw the caption. I'm like, is this some old shit? Like, what do you mean? JMO
Mhm.
suspension. And I clicked on it. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
I done fell out and fell all out the chair. Like, oh no, say it ain't so. But yeah, then we found out it wasn't substance abuse, nothing like that. I think he honestly, first of all, man, if you're gonna cheat, there's a lot better things you could be cheating with than what he was cheating with. And there's so many different types of creatine and stuff out here. I think it's easy for players to just take something and think they okay.
Mm-hmm.
But Gator brought this up on the radio the other day, and it made complete sense too. Like, how much of this is on the organization? Because it's also on the nutritionists and the medical staff with the organization to let these people know, these players know exactly what they're putting in their bodies. So you would think playing for the team, not to say is makes him exempt from his responsibility, because he's still responsible for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think as a young dog on the team, you ask dudes like St. Brown or Khalif Raymond, like, look, is this cool? Should I be taking this? Or you go to the physicians, ask them on the team. The team gonna let you know you're their main responsibility. And your main responsibility to them and the team is to make sure you keep their player on the field.
Yeah.
So they're gonna let you know, no, don't mess with this. If you're trying to get bigger, you're trying to get a little bit stronger, take this type of creatine, monohydronized, whatever it may be. I honestly believe the dude was just taking some shit. He wasn't trying to cheat.
Yeah.
He took something with something in it that he's not supposed to have. That's why they only gave him a 2-game suspension.
Yeah. That's how I feel. I didn't feel like it was something that was really like, you know what I'm saying? Like breaking the rules. It was breaking the rules, but like you said, maybe not as severe. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, name whatever substance. I'm not a big just I don't know the names of all these different substances, but uh
Heroin?
you know,
I
maybe
want
one is
to go there.
like
I want to go as,
he out there like
go as
Lawrence
far
Taylor.
as I,
He
I
out
ain't
there like
wanna-
the last Boy Scout out there with
I ain't mean to go as far
God dang, God.
as Brown, but
Yeah. But
marijuana
yeah, but I'm
or
saying like
alcohol or something.
some things are like a slap on the wrist these days. You know what I'm saying? It's not that serious, man. It really not. You know what I mean? So yeah, it had to been something where it was like, okay, man, wow, it had that in it. Oh, for real, that's on the list. Oh man, dude, I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. That's all I think it was, man. I don't think it was something where he snuck and tried to do it and knowing it's on. I don't even think they was aware it was on the list because it's so like minimal. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. Like because people think you supposed to have it on your wearing it as a wristband, like you know what I'm saying? Like what you're not supposed to put in your body on something. Well, not that, but like I don't know the list of substances. I don't know if I'm
Right.
saying it right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe some people got the wrong idea and think you're supposed to have it like on your phone or something. I don't know. Just it's crazy to me. It just seems like that's a really petty thing to really. I don't even know what it was. Did they even say what the substance was? I never even heard of what it was. You know what I mean? That's how small I think it is.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I
And
didn't hear
initially,
like
I heard it was
like it's a
creatine.
Fedra or whatever banned substance it was. So yeah, I think it's a situation where Jameson Williams could people already again saying saying he see this is why you can't depend on this guy and this is last straw and this like I don't know. I just think that people just try to find players to really latch on to and say that you know he's not their he might not be their favorite guy, and then they say, well, he did this, he did that,
It's
and it's just
ammunition for him.
yeah, and it's just like you just trying to tear the kid down, man. Yeah, it's not good. I'm not saying he's not supposed to be accountable. That's all. But I could see the mistake. I mean, if you want to say I'm taking up for him or whatever,
I am
whatever.
taking up for him.
Say
I
what you
don't
want.
find nothing wrong with it. Like
No,
people kill me with that. Oh, you just taking up for him. Yeah, well, you just bashing him.
no.
So you you want me to just? I mean, I look at the dude, man. Jameson Williams is harmless. Dude is harmless. They jumped down his throat about him setting off fireworks in his own damn yard. They jumped down his throat about going to a Coney Island in the inner city. Like it's now he took a substance. This is strike three. Like y'all just looking for anything to just smash this kid over. That's
Hmm.
why I laugh about it, man. Like it's and they calling it character issues. Do any of that sound like a character issue?
Well, the only thing I can say with the Coney Island thing, you
Even the
got
gambling was him not knowing. Now, if anything, you can accuse Jameson Williams of being too damn silly. Not necessarily silly. Silly is not the right word either. But he's just he's a very not even a childlike spirit. I think he's a very innocent spirit out here who just be out here having fun. He just be not knowing some things he be doing.
yeah.
Now, not knowing what you out here doing can be dangerous.
Yeah, that could be. I was gonna say the only thing that he's done that I know about, that's been publicized that
The
he
gambling,
hanging out the Coney Islands at 3, 4 in the morning, man. I think that's something where it's okay.
not
Hey,
a character issue though.
no, no, I know that, but
Yeah,
this is the point I'm trying to make. We always say nothing good happens, man. What's the old saying? 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, man. To me, you're a football player, star football player that got money and stuff like you're a target, man. You know what I'm saying? On some things, I get it. You want to be authentic, be approachable, but it comes to a point in time, man, when you can't be doing that. You know what I mean? If I'm gonna just say it plain like that, dude, that's the only thing. If I was coach or something or somebody close to him, I'd be like, look, man, you can go to Coney Island, you can hang out, with whoever. You can do that, but
do it at
man,
three
you don't need
o'clock
to
in the
be.
afternoon.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to be out at 2 or 3 in the morning, man. That's all I'm saying. That,
No, I understand, and I agree 1,000%. That's the same thing I said. Like I like to see my athletes in my city.
yeah, of
I like to
course,
see my athletes
approachable.
hold
Yeah,
their camps in Detroit and not
yeah,
just in West Bloomfield or Beverly Hills, Michigan, and all those other places, or Novi or um, Northville. You're the Detroit Lions. I love y'all play down here. I never liked that. If you play in the city, why not show the city love? And it just seemed like to me like a lot of people had an issue with him being in the city showing the city love. But people got to realize where that boy came from. He came from St. Louis,
yeah.
the hood in St. Louis. And I
Yeah.
remember him saying that he had family here in Detroit. That's the first thing they asked him when he got drafted about, coming to Detroit, because they always ask players that, how do you feel you'll be able to adjust being in Detroit and this and that. And the boy said clear as day, oh, y'all got people here. I'm cool. And most people from Detroit either got people from Georgia or Texas, St. Louis. We all back in the day had people from St. Louis or
Yeah.
whatnot. But yeah, so I think if anything, he's guilty of being a free spirit. That's what I really think he is. Now I agree. I don't care about you going to Coney Island in Detroit. But can you get your grub at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon? I don't need you out at 11:30. I don't need you out at 12. I don't need you out at 1. If you want some chili cheese fries at 1 o'clock in the morning, you have Uber.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm pretty sure the team has people on deck to do all that. They handle all that for y'all overnight. You don't have to
Yeah.
just get up and feel like, well, I can do whatever I want to do. And I know Ralph watching this, we all know as men, I was a lot more carefree when I was 21, 22, 23. It was stuff my mom used to tell me, boy, you don't need to be out that time of night going here, going there. What you mean you coming back from the gas stations at 2 o'clock in the morning? Crazy things happen.
Yeah.
And now we done became our parents. And it's all with good love. And like I said, I'm just not gonna come down on the dude for nothing. Like Ralph said, him getting in trouble because he took something, he drunk something working out that had something in it, a banned substance that the league didn't want him to have. That's one thing. Setting off some fireworks in front of his house. Oh, you can blow your fingers off. You being silly. Character strike. Oh, you're messing around at one of them Detroit Coney Islands. Character strike. Like, oh, you gambled on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that situation with, him gambling, that was kind of eye popping. And it was sort of like, okay, now for me, the gambling thing, I was just like, man, he a knucklehead for that because it's like, you should learn from the Pete Rose situation. That I always go back to that. Like, they don't take the gambling too lightly, even though we in parlay era. I always call it right now. You know what I'm saying? So, it is a situation where, you know, gambling is allowed now. So it's not like taboo like it was, 30 years ago. So yeah, man. I mean, Jameson Williams, listen, people like who they like. And if they don't really care for you as fans, they don't have something to say. You know what I'm saying? Because on the next hand, somebody else can do something more egregious. And those same people that say they don't like J-Mo before that, I I don't roll with them for that. I don't like him for that, for this X, Y, and Z. They'll tolerate it for the next person. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's a flavor of the month. That's what I call it. You know what I'm saying? People like who they like. I think um his availability being an issue against the Packers. I think so. I think now it finally came down that he will miss 2 games. At first, I think Adam Schefter was reporting that maybe he may wind up playing because there was no official word from the league. But today it came out officially that he's going to miss the next 2 games. And I think, I mean, yeah, for everybody that says it's going to hurt us, and it will. I mean, you want to have as many reps as possible with Jameson Williams on the field, the field, J-Mo, with him and Jared Goff. And for the most part this year, Jameson Williams has made an impact. That's what I like to see this year, where he's gotten better. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he's dogging it on the sideline and can't be dependable. He's not dependable, not even playing, bad attitude. For the most part, you all you heard is good things about Jameson Williams. From the teammates to even Dan Campbell, and even Jared Goff, and that combination between him and Goff seemed like that's working. So all those questions I remember me and you having at the beginning of this season, like we was thinking, like, is Jameson Williams gonna actually, take the next step? And I think he has. I think, yeah, it's unfortunate this happened. It's 2 games. That's what I'm glad about. It is a silver lining in this situation. At least it's not half the season or 8 games or anything like that. That's how you know it's petty, because they didn't drop, they didn't throw the book at him. You know what I'm saying? If it was something really bad, then you know is a situation where I think they would have really came down hard on him. So, um, yeah, I mean, for this show, I mean, I think we put some things out there. I think just to wrap it up, Walt, before we get out of here today, we talk about the trade talks with Max Crosby and Myles Garrett. I think those 2 guys, obviously, they're going to be hot commodities. I seem to think maybe one of those guys gets traded. I think Max Crosby may not go anywhere. I think the situation in Cleveland is horrible. I think that Myles Garrett will go somewhere, and I think it's a probably maybe if I had to put a percentage on it, 20 to 30% chance he's a Lion. You know what I'm saying at this point, from what I'm hearing right now. I think it's 50-50 if Brad Holmes will actually do a deal at all to acquire a player. If you ask me, I think we do need to do something. And it's up to debate. It's up to debate like how far or what to give up to get said player. Um, and then lastly, we talked about Jameson Williams. We just shared our thoughts on that. So, um, listen, we got the Titans this week. You know, this is a 5-1 football team coming at you this week. We in our building. You know, this is a game the Lions should win, so we're gonna focus on that. We're gonna talk about Tennessee game planning against the Titans as well. We're gonna have our picks coming up. Our over and unders, our point spread Saturday morning. So Wall had to get out of here tonight. So I'm gonna close the show out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. One Pride.